Well, I'm very happy to welcome back to the Arts Centre here in Cranleigh, Renata, and it's really lovely to have you back with us again.
Thank you very much.
And this is your fourth visit, I think, to us, and you've been with us as an accompanist with Julia Pelka, and also giving a wonderful Chopin programme in your own right. So we're really pleased that you're here to launch our new season in 2020. It's been a long time coming.
It has.
And with an audience, which will be lovely for all of us.
It's an honor for me to be back. So thank you very
lovely
much.
to have you. Lovely to have you. Now, if I could just sort of wind back to how your career came about. There's a charming bit of video on YouTube, which is part of a TV documentary showing you at the age of 5 in a kindergarten class saying that you wanted to be a pianist, even at that age. So how did your early career come about from that point?
I started piano a couple months before this documentary, and it was in a very relaxed environment with other children at my age. And we were learning music, playing the piano, singing songs, and were surrounded by art. There were paintings on the walls, and it was overall a very inspiring and good start for me, and with a very, very lovely lady who guided us all. And friendships were made there, and it was a unique class in the hometown of my hometown, Baia. And the TV got interested because it was such a special new initiative. So that's how the documentary came along, and it's so special for me to turn back time and just see how I was convinced I wanted to be a musician. But you know how children sometimes feel much more intuitively what's right for them and what they want to do, and I enjoyed it right from start, and piano was like a magnet for me, and it came naturally. Although my family is not a musician, nobody is a musician in my family, but they are extremely supportive, and they love music, and I was in the center of their attention. So I can thank a lot to them for providing me this opportunity and having this amazing start.
And the move to Budapest, that was to further your career?
Exactly. My whole family moved to Hungary when I was 10. When I got admitted to the Franz Liszt Academy of Music, there is a special class for talented children there, and I've spent there 12 years of my life growing as a musician and soaking in the Hungarian tradition and having wonderful teachers. And yes, so Budapest was a big chapter for me.
And then you had to come to the UK, and you were at the Royal Academy and also the Birmingham Conservatoire. How did moving here progress your career as an artist and your skills?
I moved to London to study with Professor Pascal Nemirovsky, who is an extraordinary pedagogue and who's been my mentor ever since, and even today we keep in touch, and I can thank him a lot for opening me as a performer and giving a lot of self-confidence and guiding and he's keeping to guide me and all of his students. And so the reason I came to UK was him. Then also it was an extra bonus, I would say, that London was maybe love for the first sight for me. I clicked with the city already in my first visit, although I came here in a cold February and it was snowing. I remember clearly. It was, I think, 7 years ago, my first visit. But I find the city truly inspiring, and for a musician, this cultural life that is going on, it's really, one could not wish for any better, I think. And Birmingham also was to continue my studies with Pascal Nemirovsky. And I met incredible people, and there's now a very extraordinary hub of brilliant pianists there, so it is really a challenge to be part of this group of young musicians who are all aspiring for the same thing.
And from the age of 16, you've been a regular performer at the Esztergom Liszt Week, which was where your home was when you were studying in Budapest. Now, Liszt and at the Liszt Academy, do you feel a special connection with him as a composer?
Yes, I think this is inevitable. Once you are at the Franz Liszt Academy of Music, which was founded by Liszt himself, and you can still see his objects. There's a museum there. I was very lucky to play his pianos, different instruments, uprights, grand pianos, his travel little keyboard, which he used for practicing during his long journeys. And so yes, I think this is very much part of me. And Esztergom is special because Liszt himself visited this town when he conducted his piece that he wrote, Grand Mass, for the inauguration of the cathedral, which is the biggest cathedral in Hungary. And the festival in Esztergom was founded to commemorate and to pay respect for this and to keep this music, mainly Liszt's less known religious or spiritual works displayed. And yes, I've performed each year since the festival started, and it's a special tradition for me. I think it has grown to a tradition.
And of course, sadly, this year not able to take place because of COVID-19. Yes. Well, that brings us on to your program that you are playing for us today. And Liszt features in it with one of those religious works. Tell us a little bit about how that piece works. It's part of a sequence of pieces, I believe.
Yes.
And based on poems, is that right?
It is in the cycle of poetic and religious harmonies written by Liszt. I think in 1847, 48. And Liszt himself, he was a very spiritual man, and he was inspired by Alphonse de Lamartine, the famous poet of his time, who he even kept in touch with, and he read a lot of his poetry. And he included his poems in many of his scores. So the piece I'm going to perform today is called The Blessing of God in Solitude. And this was the piece that I knew for sure I'm going to include in the program this year and for this concert. Well, for obvious reasons, after such a year, which is still going on, right? It is, I think, one of the most appropriate pieces from the piano repertoire. And so many people have had to experience solitude this year in so many levels, unprecedented levels. And I really would like to offer this as a consolation and an encouragement that, in fact, solitude can turn into a great blessing if one turns inwards. And so it's a little sign of hope and of compassion. So this all the other pieces are built around this in the program.
So the main piece is the Mozart Sonata, and that one I think has been described as almost a mini concerto. It offers so many challenges to a pianist. How do you cope with the changes of mood and the many different melodies that come and go within the piece?
Yes, this is a very exuberant piece, incredibly lively and positive. And again, it's not a coincidence that I put it in the program, because I wanted a very big change from the everyday life that we experience. So Mozart composed this piece when he left Salzburg, after he left Salzburg, and moved to Vienna and started off as a freelance musician, which back then was a very new adventure for a musician to do. And he composed the piano concertos and the piano sonatas to perform them for the public and to fascinate them and to display his abilities. So it is a virtuoso piece, and it is a grand, massive piano piano sonata. And the third movement has a cadenza also, which is quite unusual in a piano sonata. We have that in the piano concertos, the cadenza where the soloist displays the abilities that he or she might have. So this sonata actually is in B-flat major, and so is the first piece that will be the start of the program, which is Sheep May Safely Graze by Bach, and it's a transcription for the solo piano. So yes, let's see.
So you'll be demonstrating your skills on our new piano, the Shigeru Kawai. Now, I think in one interview you said that Steinway's were your favourite, so I hope you don't mind playing our piano. How does the different piano affect a performer?
Oh, very much. Every piano is very different, and some pianos have stronger personalities, and stronger can be either positive or negative. But it's very much an interaction between the player and the instrument, and it a lot depends on how the instrument reacts, and that can encourage or not so much the performer, depending on the instrument. But I'm extremely excited to see and try out soon and play this piano, which is definitely a huge upgrade for Cranleigh, and I'm so pleased that you have this new instrument here.
Lovely. Well, I must give you time to actually meet our new piano and to get to know it before the concert starts. So thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you.
So thank you, Renata Konyicska.
Thank you very much.